Maybe a ship coming, Boggert.
Did
You
you
have one
need?
more.
Did you need more sign?
I have 6 signs. I need more. I need another barrel. Did you have more barrels? Alright. I think this may be our tour group. It's about time for them. It'll be time. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back, Boggert.
Okay. Welcome to 5 Torches. Anchors are optional.
Rigs have a hard time.
Yeah, I guess so. We need to come up with a nice slogan. Dock where you like. Then again, the clockwork. He docked where he liked, and it's not a good place to dock, right?
Owen and Stanley. Put a sign over by my shipyard that says overnight parking.
Ah, perfect.
Trying.
Should we try saying swing it to the left?
You could go tell them that they can put it wherever.
We have the worst anchor points here, so you may want to swing more on the other side of that sloop if you can get it in there. With the sloop. Careful, careful.
We can't seem to get a point here.
Yeah, welcome to Five Torches. Anchors are optional.
She's not happy.
You may want to try over by the marketplace on the other end down here. Mr. Owen was parked there earlier, and he has a brig.
I can park at the very end of the market, so I can go stand there for you.
We can.
Oh, if you wouldn't mind. Are you, is this the place of the Boggert Museum?
Yeah, the Oddities Museum.
Oddities Museum, that's it, yeah, sorry.
Yes, okay, I'll stand down here.
Oh, we found him.
Okay.
I'm going to try to put them right here.
If they don't, yeah. I know it's aggravating. Just doesn't pay to put signs out because there's so many different sizes of ship. Some ships can anchor there. I don't want to say you can't anchor here, because if you're small, you can. They're just too big. Should be able to anchor right in here. We're sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
Nope,
like
nope,
the move.
nope.
Oh, just. Oh, come.
I'm all in the net.
Hell
I
yeah.
got it. Just wanted to
You
scare
caught us.
And I fell. Oh wait, no I didn't.
Hello, ma'am. Well, as I said, we're looking for the Oddities Museum.
Well, you're here. This is the place. This is Five Torches. But just down the docks, we have the Oddities Museum if you would like to take a tour today.
Oh, yes, we'd love to, yes. How much is...
Oh, it's free. Doesn't cost anything at all.
It's free?
But
Well, I'll...
you can leave a donation if you like, but whatever you got, and you don't have to leave anything at all. We just want to pass the warning zone to you and make sure other people also hear the warnings.
Ah, okay. Well, we one of our friends went there and he said it was very nice. I am Connor Jones, and this is my wife Amanda Jones. We're from
Nice to meet you.
Oh,
Roots
hello
and
there.
Roots and Shoots over in northeast Sturgis.
Yep.
Well, welcome.
Thank
No
you.
worries. Well, we have a little farm over there. We do seeds and we collect the flotsams and stuff like that. So,
Sure. We understand.
and this is our date night.
Yeah.
How exciting. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're
Yeah.
ready.
Would either of you like a drink or a pizza or anything like that?
I'm
No,
good
not
right
for
now.
me.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. And if you could lead the way, ma'am.
Sure, right this way.
What was your name, sir?
Boggert's time. That's my twin sister, Boggett Lane.
Oh,
Boggett.
I mean, is she taller than you?
No.
Pretty sure I am.
I'm older, though. By 15
old?
minutes.
By 50 years.
No, 15 minutes.
Is he 50 years and you're still twins?
50 years older than me, and I'm so young and vibrant.
I can see that, man. I mean, if I wasn't a married man, I'd be looking myself.
You hear that, Boggert? Young and vibrant. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right this way.
Oh, what is?
Would you know?
What? No. I'm in trouble, Baruka.
Oh, what's the matter?
I'm in trouble. She's jealous of you now. That's what it is.
No, not that.
I was messing with him.
It's not the first time. Oh.
Oh, you've got one of the long neck rafts.
Yes, we do. That was a gift from Edgar. Edgar lives here in the towns, and he graciously brought us one of the interesting rafts. We're afraid it's going to get hungry, though. We think maybe it might want to eat something with all the long neck and the mouth.
I thought they moved in herds.
Oh,
Yeah,
I haven't heard
I've,
that, but that sounds...
I've only seen groups of them.
Oh,
Yeah, I've only ever seen groups of them, yeah. I don't know how you've got one on its own.
oh, well, Edgar brought it. I don't know even. Maybe he singled one out and lured it away. Oh, thank you. Right this way.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I love this. I love this entrance.
Straight down the mouth.
Oh, that's... I'm quite scared. Was this your idea or mine?
I'm pretty sure this is your idea.
It wasn't
Come
my
to
idea.
the BoggOdd Oddities Museum. Someone will be with you shortly.
Thank you.
This is Elias.
Hey,
Elias
thank
is
you.
Employee of the Month here at BoggOdd Oddities.
Ah, what does he get for that?
He gets a nice plaque, and he gets his poster hung over for Employee of the Month. It's just above Elias here on the wall.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
How many other
Thank you.
employees do you have?
Just Elias.
Ah, right, okay. So competition was fierce, Elias, yeah?
It always is.
Yeah, he narrowly got it again.
Yeah, he
made
saved your
sure.
life.
Yeah, he made sure I was protected. We were out at sea, and he built a nice awning over the top of my sofa so I did not get soaking wet when it rained. And it worked out very well when the ships of the damned tried to bombard us with cannonballs. They destroyed the awning, but I was unscathed completely. And I told Elias, and that was last month. I said, "Oh, Elias, you've already got an Employee of the Month for next month."
Wow.
Oh, yes.
That's we could do with you on the farm, Elias.
Oh, no, he's not leaving here.
Ah, right, okay. We won't want to take him anyway. You know, I don't think we could provide such a grand plaque and portrait, you know.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm sure
right.
they'd want to stay here.
Yeah,
That's-
we got a Tansy that's in the town. She has a little art gallery, so maybe afterwards you can swing by and take a look at her art.
Now that's Tansy's work just above the Lyles, and then that's Tansy's work just above the doorways coming in. That's me and Boggert on a good day.
What did we look like on a bad day? That's the question.
Really bad, but we look pretty good there.
Oh, you look cool. I like the
Yeah.
I like the dress
great
and
painting.
Boggart the really brings out your eyes, you know, the painting.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
like that stance too.
Wearing a hat, and Boggert's wearing a little cherry pie with a piece of mint on top.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What happened to it? Did he eat it?
Did you? Oh, there it is. Little cherry pie that you put on top of your head.
Oh, there it is.
Like it.
Wow.
It looks very good on you.
Ah, thank you. I wear it well.
How does he keep a cherry pie in his pocket? Do you know what I mean? Oh, sorry, can see. I was just wondering, how do you keep a cherry pie in your pocket?
You're fine.
Yeah.
You just fold it.
Just
you can
fold it.
fold a cherry pie.
Can you hold it? Oh my.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would you like to try my cherry pie hat?
I mean,
Do you want a different hat?
Let's have a look.
It may be a little tight, so don't stretch it too much.
No, just let him put it on. He just sets it on top of his head. And then we do the judgment.
I think I make this look good.
Whoa, almost looks noble.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes very well with your wife's dress as well.
Oh, it does. How much do you want for the hat, sir?
Can Elias make me another hat?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I reckon a fair price is... How does 20 silver sound?
Oh my.
Oh, that's a little too much, I think.
No, you take that, sir.
But I'll take it
as,
anyway.
Yeah, take it for the running of your museum here. You've already entertained us enough. Your grand entrance there was spectacular.
Yes, it's amazing.
Well, you're here now. We can start anytime you're ready as well.
Oh, we are ready whenever
Yeah.
you are, ma'am. Lead the way.
Yes.
Leave your preconceived notions of the normal world at this very threshold and enter the world of the mysterious, the unusual, and the odd at BoggOdd Oddities Museum. By entering the museum, you agree management not responsible for any and all incidents herein, including but not limited to falling, tripping, or plunging into wells or graves, changing of hair color, rope burns, unconsciousness, or any type of odors that you or your loved ones may leave with.
Oh my god.
Really?
Oh my god.
Well then. I mean,
Please.
we're already here.
Please step lively
mean-
into the next chamber.
We'll be
I
fine.
mean, if we die and feed the cows.
Well,
Begins on
Okay.
your right, just
won't
as you
die.
enter the museum.
sorry? Oh.
The
Oh.
tour begins here on your right, just as you enter the museum.
That's great.
At a blazing hot tropical free port, there stood a quiet specialty cheese shop at the end of an alley. You're probably questioning, is it appropriate to locate a cheese shop in the melting heat? The answer, no. Not because of the heat, however. It was the feral cats. The cats had taken to begging at the cheese shop. As patrons were leaving, they would kindly drop a crumb or two, leaving the cats to wait for the next patron. Eventually, the roof support beams groaned and popped under the weight of so many waiting cats. The shop owner attempted to shoo them away at first, but then realized the cats would not touch the crumbs of the most pungent cheeses. A patron remarked, "It is so hot today, the stone walls are almost sizzling." As the tren rounded the corner, the shop owner sprang into action and, gathering the most pungent of cheeses, pressed them against the hot stone walls where they melted, sticking them on. It really did work. To the cats, the stench of the cheese was so intense that they fled to the far side of the island. The shop owner rested well that evening, until suddenly they were awakened. The roof's support beams were creaking and groaning again, running out into the dark to chase the cats off the roof. The shop owner caught a glimpse of them through the moonlight. The cats opened their eyes and then their beaks toward the shop owner. It is then the shop owner realized the roof was covered not in cats, but in starving, hungry vultures.
Oh my god.
Wow.
House terrible.
You're welcome to sniff the wall. It's still got the smell of the pungent cheese.
Lured by the horrendous odor the vultures were.
Ooh.
Ooh, smells like Flanagan's feet.
How would you know what they smell like?
I can smell him when he's on the ship, you know?
Oh, wow. Okay,
I've
yeah,
not
fair
been,
enough.
Not been sniffing his feet.
Okay. I hope not.
No.
The Great Northern Factory disaster took place on a particularly cold, dark, rainy evening. The main source of heat in the frozen north was this giant fireplace located just beside me. Below the smokestack here above us, the factory backed up to a large rock mountain, and the entrance to a great coal mine was built down off the factory into the depths of the mountain. The top of the mountain was a habitat for an assortment of animals. The employees of the factory found a large snake roasting on the coals one afternoon and proceeded to prepare it for the dinner pot. It was not unusual for someone to bring whatever they had to share, although they could not determine who brought the snake. They made a feast of the snake anyhow and went back to work. As the evening grew even colder and darker, they placed more and more coal onto the fire. What no one realized is that the snake deliciously roasting on the fire had chased a plump sheep from the mountaintop. The snake and the sheep both fell over the side of the mountain and landed on top of the smokestack. The snake fell through, down to the coals below, but the sheep was wedged in the smokestack high above the factory. The toxic smoke had already weakened most of the workers to the point they could not get out by the time the panic began. All but 3 workers were killed in the tragedy. The death toll had to be near 458 lives, and would remain the largest number of people killed by a single sheep for at least 2 more decades.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
That's right. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
Any questions at all?
I want to see where my sheep are when I get home.
Yeah.
Don't let them
Yeah.
get on the roof. They like to get in the chimney, and then they get stuck, and it's all the wool, and it just seals it up tight.
Oh my god. Right,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah, let's check on that
Some
one.
story. Yeah, let's make sure we've got no sheep on the roof. Oh well, that's a great story.
Before you here is a certified giraffe examination chair. It's been placed here as public service by the Giraffe Handlers Association when a giraffe needs to be examined. For multiple reasons, it's much easier to inspect the giraffe from closer up where they are. The doctor will climb up the chair and the giraffe will be brought in for inspection purposes. But what type of inspection, you may ask? One purpose is to see if they have the giraffe-like teeth, or the less common human-like teeth, of course. But a far more common reason is to see if the ears have been laid with spider eggs again, as the giraffe ears are known to be the perfect habitat for spider eggs. Laying their eggs deep in the giraffe's warm ear hair, they lie forgotten until the time comes for hatching. If you have giraffes, tame or wild, near your home, be sure they are not shaking their heads frequently. This is the first sign that spider egg laying has occurred. If your giraffe has ears infested with spider eggs, the time
The
will come
character is
that they will
Barmy Army.
hatch, and the giraffe's head shaking will then
He's played
deposit the
on,
tiny hatchlings around
PG
and throughout your
and
home.
played
killing
the
the giraffe.
O'Connors at one point.
Yes. Oh my god.
Giraffe, oh no.
And now I know why Tom Melissa's so afraid of giraffes.
Oh, oh no. You don't live on an island with the wild giraffes, do you?
No, but he saw one once, and
answer.
it was quite the scary experience for him.
Oh,
Yeah, and if you've see a spider, they've already seen you a mile away and started running towards you. So be careful out there.
I will keep in mind.
Right this way.
Holy crap.
Oh. Just 1 second, just time I'll catch you up. Just gonna just do something. Give me 1 second.
Right.
don't be afraid.
I believe he needs a minute
And
to
don't.
deal with all of this.
Yeah,
That's all right.
as long as he doesn't read the signs past the giraffes, you don't want anyone to follow you home.
Oh god.
Oh no, she read the signs.
Oh no! Ah!
Hit the signs.
What do I do?
Just take it back. Take it back. Say I didn't see them.
I didn't see anything.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
It was close.
Yeah. Oof.
Oh, what happened? Why was gone? What did
Oh,
you do?
nothing. Nothing, whatever.
What did you do, honey?
We were waiting for you.
Yeah, but
Okay.
just think.
I do apologise. I was taking a moment to compose myself. It was a lot to take in, you know.
It's all
We
right.
saw that giraffe, didn't we? And
Yeah.
there's one near where we live, you see. So I'm a little worried.
No. Make sure it has its ears checked frequently, especially if it's shaking its head. No, you know, they don't all shake their head. You should be fine. You get home, it's
Okay.
not shaking its head, you know you're all right.
Okay, that's good. Good. That's good.
We gotta keep an eye on it though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and definitely check for if it's got the human teeth.
Oh, not the human teeth. You
Right.
have to check them from way up high, though. It's really hard to check a giraffe's teeth from way down low, where the human eyes located.
They're baby when they're babies, they're easier to check.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
But then you gotta check the ears, too, when they get grown. So, it's a slippery slope. In a far-off kingdom, a rotten king reigned supreme. He was known to frequently decide he had been slighted, and to place people in prison to be punished, or worse. The king unexpectedly ordered a particularly complicated feast from his chef Arthur in the middle of the night. The chef and the kitchen staff worked frantically, tired as they were, to create a culinary masterpiece. The feast was a triumph, and the king later sent word to see if he may speak with the chef. Word arrived early next morning. The king would be to the kitchens within the hour, and the kitchen staff readied themselves for his visit. The king arrived with his guards, and they quietly toured the kitchens as he thoroughly inspected many things. Nothing was said. The king looked at the guards as he approached the exit and nodded. The king's guards proceeded to destroy the kitchen's pots and pans and kitchen tools, and then the guards turned to the chef and said, "The king would like you to know he is displeased with last night's feast. You forgot to serve sea salt instead of salt with his meal."
Is this the French king? Because it won't surprise me.
What? There's a French king? I don't know. It's just a story that we've heard. I don't think it was the French king, because if you wait till the end, it may
Oh,
tell
go on, carry
you.
on. Sorry. Sorry, continue, ma'am. I do apologise.
That's fine. You forgot to serve sea salt instead of salt with his meal. The chef was aghast. He knew he had served the sea salt. He had prepared it himself. He only said "aye" before they cut him off, and told him he was to be removed from the king's staff and to be placed in prison to await a further punishment. The king felt assured mistakes would no longer be made in his kitchen, and as a test a few weeks later, he had a new feast prepared for the opening of the night's tournament. At the end of the tournament, a victorious knight stood remaining, but the king was very unhappy. He had slighted again, and his favorite knight did not win. So he rushed the knight who won with a dagger in his hand. The knight flicked away the dagger, but gave the king what was intended for the knight. The king was now removed from life and power, and the entrant made their way to the throne and were seated. The shocked crowd dropped the facade of reverence for the old king and warmly cheered a new powerful leader. The guards, also shocked, but no longer hiding their contempt for the rotten king, said, "All hail the new king," to which
Oh,
the
wow.
entrant moved their helmet and said, "Queen." "All hail the new queen," said the guards. "What would you have us do, your majesty?" they asked. "Firstly, bring me Arthur, the chef from the prisons." Arthur approached the new queen, and he leaned down and quietly asked, "Daughter, what has happened? And are those my pots and pans you're wearing?" "It's time to explain it all, father," she said. "They sent them to me at the blacksmith shop for repairs. They didn't know I was your daughter." She smiled pleasantly at her father, and they waved toward the crowd over the tournament field and the cold, dead body of the former king. "You always said that your pots and pans would bring us such good fortune, father. You just didn't know how right you were."
Is that the suit of armor she made?
It is. It's made of pots
Oh,
and
wow.
pans and kitchen tools. They had
Wow.
formerly been almost destroyed, but they were brought back to life by her. She's a very good blacksmith, you see, among other things.
That's impressive.
Wow.
Well,
I need
thank you.
a set. Do you sell sets or?
No, we don't. We only have the one that came directly from her, but she may still be out there somewhere. She's a queen now, but she may still be making armor for all we know. I don't know.
Okay.
As we proceed into the next room, do not panic. Everything is under control. If there is an actual fire, we would direct you to the nearest emergency exit.
It's only fire that looks like fire. It's nothing
Oh my
odd.
god.
Yes.
Well,
Oh wow.
definitely was not expecting to see a fake fire in here.
Oh god. Is that a fire engine?
Yes.
Oh, we'll explain it all. On a roasting hot desert island, it rarely rained. House fires were happening frequently, and to help combat the fires, the residents used what they had to craft 2 fire carts. These carts, each pulled by the best rhinosaur the island could breed, were filled with water and pulled from location to location. Raspberry the monkey, found wandering an island used as a turtle habitat, was a pet, the head of the fire cart haulers. Out on one of their very first patrols, they discovered something unusual. Raspberry had previously been trained to pull a cart. They decided that given his constant insistence he be handed the reins, Raspberry would be trained to drive the rhinosaur of cart number 2. This worked more than well. Raspberry was already a complete natural at cart handling. In fact, he needed no instructions whatsoever. They even crafted a small seat just for him. This allowed the others to focus more on the fires. Months passed and the carts raced to and from the fires, with Raspberry excitedly guiding the cart all the way. One afternoon, after a particularly difficult morning of fighting a long series of fires, the bell rang again. It was time to ready the carts, and Raspberry could not be located. Head of the fire cart haulers went to Raspberry's room and found the monkey sleeping in bed, knowing the poor creature must be exhausted after the long morning they had had. They had another member of the fire cart haulers pull the reins instead. They left without poor tired Raspberry and headed to the fire. Along the way, they spotted an unreported house fire and slowed cart number 2 to water it before they could catch back up to number 1. While spraying down the house, the front door burst open, and a soaking wet Raspberry with an extinguished torch in his hand emerged. Not believing that Raspberry could be both asleep and at the scene of the fire, they went to check his bed. Neatly shaped and arranged was a pair of trousers made to look like a sleeping monkey. Raspberry was wise at a great many things. Cart handling and deception being among his greatest talents. He was returned to the offices of the Turtle Sanctuary, where he was found so he could retire from his very busy life. The fires stopped overnight, and the fire cart hall was quiet. And then one afternoon, a flare was fired, and a representative of a neighboring island had arrived. They wanted advice on fire carts, for they had been plagued with fires recently, and they also needed a small seat in the front, because they had the oddest thing, monkey, who knew how to drive a cart.
Wait. Do I need to arrest the monk? Oh, sorry. But...
No. No, the monkey's...
What?
This is not raspberry.
What? Sorry, I'm a farmer.
How could you arrest the monkey?
How could I arrest the monkey? I'm a farmer.
Yeah, just a simple, but...
I'm a simple farmer.
But we want you to know this is not Raspberry. Anyhow, we are terrified of Raspberry and don't want Raspberry anywhere near our facility. This is Margaret playing the part of Raspberry.
Well played, Margaret. Well played.
I still don't trust Margaret to look at that. Look like charcoal tip tail.
Oh, the charcoal. Oh,
It's a cheer for Margaret.
ooh, thank you.
Did a great job.
Thank you, Margaret. You're doing well.
Well done, Margaret.
No, this is not a tavern filled with delicious libations. In fact, if you had been here 50 years ago, you would already be dead. It wasn't unusual a long time ago to place additives into your spirits to give them an interesting afternote, be it bitter, sweet, or bittersweet. It was an unusually crowded evening the night before. Would be again at the Coronation Inn and Tavern. The tavern keep was too busy to go for the ingredients for a tote to add to the drink for the next evening, and the tavern keep's sibling was sent to pick up the rare and delicious green sweet ingredient, Magistine. The herbologist were also out, and in this their apprentice was working. The assistant herbologist mistook the Magistine for the more common pest remover maggot stem, nearly identical in both appearance and flavor, coupled with the very unfortunate similarity in their names. The switch was made. The maggot stem was delivered to the tavern and used to give the libations their smooth sweetness. As is custom with a spirit house attached to overnight accommodations, the drinks poured heavily and quickly. The hallucinations began an hour into the evening, and the vomiting began shortly thereafter. Ingestion of maggot stem was said to produce hallucinations such as liquid running down the walls, inanimate objects breathing, skies filled with flying animals, and the mistaking of human form for animal. The chaos of all the visions, coupled with the vomiting, began a putrid battle inside the tavern, where they all fought for their very lives. Anyone who made it outside was driven back in by the visions in the skies. Those victors who survived the vomitous battle were said to have lain unconscious on these very floorboards until their hearts slowed to death.
Dear God. You don't have any of them barrels, do you?
Have any what?
Do you have any of them barrels in the house?
Barrels.
We don't have any of that. No, we don't keep any of that around here. Very dangerous.
Oh, well, I was asking Amanda.
Oh, not with that stuff in them.
Oh, right, okay.
Just be careful if you go to any taverns. Be sure to be clear about what you're there for and what you would like to have, and make sure that they're also clear on what ingredients are going into their libations and such. Make sure nothing unusual. It's part of the warnings here.
But if they're truly on a date, I think it's perfectly fine that you wouldn't poison your date this early on in the relationship.
I hope not.
Not early on, you say.
No, we're married, right? Yeah.
Married?
Married?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
And how many
Yes.
years?
3.
3.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Not yet, Boggert said.
Not yet. Usually around 5, maybe.
What happens at 5?
Well, do you have any kids yet?
No.
Okay. I think they're fine. Yes. Continue on.
All right,
Oh,
we'll
you
continue.
mean when? Oh, right, okay.
You've
We
been
were
to
very
a
happy.
humid, tropical island. You know all too well the heat can be unrelenting. Two elderly brothers were looking for the lost goat near their home, and they stumbled upon something. A very large abandoned well. The well had run low of water, but the inside had a beautiful pool at the bottom. The brothers were knelt beside the lid, and when they opened it, they could feel the cool, refreshing air blow past them. They thought about and discussed the well the remains of the day and night. They awoke the next day with a plan. They would put a ladder down the well and see what was inside. They slipped from the final ladder rung into the cool, dark water and enjoyed the most luxuriously pleasant soak in neck-high, perfectly chilled water. The water drained a bit more, though, over time, and instead of floating, they now had to kneel or sit on the bottom of the well. This did not suit the aging frames. They began to talk of a new plan. It was decided to make the well a bit more comfortable, so they moved some furniture inside, using ropes and the goat, who was finally found in time, to lower some things. Damp richness of the well. The furniture was also. The introduction of the furniture began a growth of mold and mildew and rot that first tainted the well and then outright poisoned it. You see, as the furniture was slowly mildewing and molding from the outside, the cool, damp, dark back of the chairs was growing a deadly fungus. Before that fungus was discovered, it had already started to emit toxic spores, which filled the well and the lungs of the two elderly brothers.
Oh my god. We've not got any furniture in the water, have we?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Maybe on the deck. Maybe
All
on
of
the
our
deck.
things are.
We were in a port just yesterday, and we sailed to the port, and would you believe that they had two wooden chairs sitting in the water near where their trade docks were located. And they
Oh
said,
wow.
"Oh yes, we just had that furniture there in case anyone wants to sit in the cool, refreshing water." And we said, "Oh, you probably need to make your way to the Oddities Museum before it's too late."
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
My god. So they don't know the warnings. Is that furniture the furniture or different furniture?
No, it's different furniture. It's only been painted to like it's molded. We don't want any dangers here.
We did have an incident the grand opening weekend. Someone did fall into it and had a terrible time getting out.
Yeah, they did, and as far as we know, they're still alive because it's only painted to look like it's molded. We check frequently to make sure it doesn't have any actual mold spores or anything.
Yeah, I think we take it out in the sun every once in a while just to burn off the rays from it.
Burn off.
Oh my god.
Beneath.
Well, I'll just make sure we've got nothing in the water like that.
Nothing in the water, especially not the upholstered furniture. I think that's part of the real problem there.
Does it even happen with salt water, or is it just fresh water?
Well, I'm sure it was fresh water in the well, so I'm not sure. The salt may inhibit some sort of growth or production of something.
It might grow some seaweed, maybe.
I hesitate to say anything is all right. You could have some sort of strange eggs that are laid by an animal in the upholstery, and next thing you know, you're sitting in the chair and the eggs hatch.
Oh my god. I'm never gonna sit with a padded chair.
Oh, I don't like them.
I can see why.
They concern me so.
Oh my god.
Far beneath, a beautiful country estate lie a strange fate for those unfortunate enough to have encountered a pair of mad, noble women that had a secret which would have run the blood cold of those in the aristocratic circles they kept themselves in. The mad women had developed an unusual diet preference: human toenails. Half-hearted soldier, drunken sailor, or sea wench, they preyed upon all of them. They went into the dark nights, and they rounded up victims. They would wait outside of taverns and dance halls for those inebriated enough not to put up a fight. Bag over their head and about 6 pence around was enough to knock even the stoutest person unconscious if they had been plied with enough drink. They would be locked into each of the chambers here beside me, and the feet scrubbed, cleaned, and the toenails carefully trimmed so as not to waste any of the precious resource. I know what you're both wondering. Why did the sisters not just pull the toenails out at the root? After all, that's the sensible thing to do. Well,
What?
the sisters weren't monsters, you see. They were just hungry. So strangely hungry. Each victim awakened, dumped on the outskirts of a town shoeless, sockless with the pants rolled to their knees. But their feet had been beautifully scrubbed, and their toenails had been perfectly trimmed. The sisters were caught. They mistook a pair of sleepy officers for inebriated, and then were overcome by them. Threatened with having their toenails pulled out at the root, it is the sensible thing to do. They confessed to the entire ruse, and afterward they fell from grace and out of high society. They took on new identities. They began to work in a wash house, and decided they would take the job of trimming the nails of those who came in to bathe, thereby secretly continuing to feed their very unusual hunger.
I know we're not to employ for me spa. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Well,
no.
I meant the pool at the end of the farm, you know.
You been to a spa? Did they trim
Uh,
your nails?
I have been to a spa when I was a younger man, you know, and travelling around before I married Amanda here.
All right, I was just worried you may have had your nails trimmed recently. We don't know the fate of these two women, and the stories that we've heard, they still could be out there somewhere for all we know.
Oh my god. Never going to spa again. I'm not doing a lot of things after leaving here.
Oh, there's a lot of warnings here. You gotta spread the word. Tell people to come and hear the warnings for themselves as well. We don't want people out here making mistakes. There's so many you could make, and it's so easy to do.
Oh my god. The chair one's the scariest so far, because I actually chair later.
The horrific molded chairs.
Oh god. And the giraffes.
Oh, no. A new beautiful island Freeport was too close to a deeper ocean trench. The frequent ship traffic to and from the island had angered the residents of the deep ocean trench. Many different creatures made their way from the depths of the trenches to investigate the new disturbances as the swirling waters mixed warm water down into the formerly cool trench and introduced new detritus into the depths. Mermaids from the trenches seemed to grow much angrier, becoming a constant menacing presence throughout the waters. To teach the citizens defensive tactics to protect themselves against angry mermaids, as well as to ensure people would not fear nearing the very profitable Freeport. The Freeport itself opened a training institute just off the shores. Seen before you here are the standard issue training form, as well as a specialized mermaid training form, which was developed at the institute. Normally housed in deeper water, this form was used to teach citizens techniques to avoid or defend against angry mermaids. The mermaids seemed to realize something was occurring at the Freeport, and they really began to increase violence. Eventually, they investigated the institute itself and made their way to the shoreside, right where the training forms were stationed. Instead of damaging the training forms, the mermaids began to study them, look at them, and they possibly believed them to be some sort of figure placed there in reverence to the mermaids themselves. It is believed that they took this as a sign the mermaid was a respectable neighbor, and it led them to stop their attacks completely. Unintentionally, the forms did work to protect the citizens. No one who was trained to defend themselves ever even had to, and the mermaid forms were left in the water as a sign of continued mutual respect. Luckily for the Freeport, the mermaids had not witnessed the defensive techniques that were used against these forms.
Oh wow.
Oh, yes.
I saw a mermaid the other day.
How'd you just
I've seen a couple. One of them grabbed me and dragged me under.
No, not that.
Yeah.
Oh, you go back.
Mermaids are very dangerous. We've seen a couple ourselves. They always splash along the edges of the ship and you think it's just one of the dolphins. And then the next thing you know, you see the long flowing hair and you think, oh, that dolphin has hair. And then you realize, no, that's a mermaid.
You're,
Imagine they go for your brother all the time.
you're welcome to look closer at the head. You can see the long eyelashes that were built into the mermaid.
Authentically placed there to replicate the long eyelashes of the mermaid. People say they can't see the mermaid's eyelashes, or they didn't know they had long ones, but it could be
Oh,
very
I see it.
Yes, it could be
I
very
see
hard
it.
to see them underwater too. Trying to see eyelashes underwater is probably not easy.
I reckon they'd take your eye out as well.
Yes, it
Oh
probably-
yeah. Well, one of them tried to drag me under, and I had to punch it.
Yeah, go on, honey. Punch it in the face. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then it let me go.
Ooh,
Alright.
It liked being punched in the face.
Oh, did it?
oh no.
Just as long as she doesn't punch you in the face, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I probably deserve it sometimes, you know.
A skilled blacksmith made a fortune on board a ship, repairing broken old wood stoves from a frozen polar region. A fortune that he intended to keep to himself. Looking around his ship one day, he realized he had a dozen wood stoves that no one had claimed after they had been repaired. Needing to both remove the extra weight from his ship and find a more suitable place to keep his treasure safe, he left the polar region for his home on a warm elephant island. He owned a small piece of the island that included a swamp. The swamp was home to many horrendous beasts, the least of which were an endless amount of spiders. He knew the perfect location for a hideaway was a well-hidden cavern on the edge of the swamp. You would never see it unless you were falling into it. Covered in vines and growth, it was the perfect place, except for the spiders. But he knew spiders feared one thing above all others, a larger, faster, hungrier spider. To attempt to stop the spiders from living in the cavern, as well as to add an additional shock, should anyone stumble into the caverns, he carted the old forgotten wood stoves down the darkened mouth of the cave and created this monstrosity here before you. Welding the stoves together and carving a stone plinth from the cavern's rocks, he successfully created a spider to frighten all the other spiders, and the others fled in fear, leaving him in freedom to place his now treasure deep into the delightfully spider-free cave. He went back to the north and he made more and more treasure doing repairs. He then readied himself for a return to the cavern. Upon his return, he was looking forward to a spiderless cavern after having fought his way through so many of them in the swamps. He arrived and he found the cavern filled with elephants, bursting at the seams with elephants. They chased him away from the entrance and all the way back to his ship over and over and over. For you see, the only thing that kept them out of the cavern were the spiders, and the only thing luring the elephants deep into the cavern was the new multiple-armed post someone had placed there for them to scratch themselves on.
Yeah. Yep.
Get it now.
That backfired spectacularly.
Oh, yes.
It's the perfect size to reach a lot of little spots on the elephant, and they just sidle up next to it, and the next thing you know, They're there all day. You can't get them away once they found a nice spot like this. It's how elephants are, they don't forget.
Oh, wow. That's some design.
Oh, thank you. This
Yeah.
brings us to our
Connor.
grazing point here on our tour. If you're hungry.
Could I have one of your pizzas, please?
Oh, yes.
Popcorn. We got popcorn.
Got popcorn, food and beverages just around the corner here.
Okay.
Welcome to any and all that you need.
Thank you.
Ah, thank you.
Oh. Cool.
There's popcorn. Help yourself.
I can't get in it. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's a little
I'll
tricky
take-
barrel.
Thank you.
Would you like a pizza, sir? They're delicious.
Sure. What kind? Does it come with toppings or some sort?
Amanda, what did we put? What did you make the pizza of?
It's got some pepperoni, some I should say sausage, a little bit of bacon, and some parsley for flavor, and cheese.
Oh, perfect. It's really hot and
Very
fresh.
meaty pizza. Very meaty pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Pocket. And you wonder how you can put a pie in your pocket and you're carrying pizzas in your pocket that are hot.
Yeah, you fold them up and they fit in if you squish them in.
Same with the pie, you just fold
Same
it.
with the pie, it is.
Yeah. Here is what was once a beautiful, marvelous circus organ. The organ was a modern wonder. It needed no one to play it, and in fact it didn't even have keys. It produced sound through steam in a series of used water and stovepipes, and could play the most beautiful melodies. It was pulled on 3 carts behind 3 elephants. A circus parade arrived in the town, playing all the while to let the residents know the circus was arriving. The circus fell to ruin after the death of the ringmaster and owner. The ringmaster was thrown higher than the high wire act one evening by a pair of elephants looking to escape their circus life. The audience, watching the tragedy unfold, sent warnings to all they knew: avoid the circus at risk of peril. This organ was purchased at an auction of items from the disassembled circus by a group of ne'er-do-wells who had a plan. They would travel with the reassembled pipe organ port to port, playing friendly melodies for tips throughout the day, and then they would quieten as the shops closed and the people headed to the neighboring homes. Then, in the late hours of the evening, they would stoke the fires of the steam heater until they were raging. The beautiful music, produced with gentle steam pressure, became a howling, screeching, clangorous noise. This caused the residents to flee their homes in terror, and the horses and animals to batter their stalls, not knowing what beast was capable of such noise. The ne'er-do-wells would slow the fires eventually, but only so they could offer a proclamation. The fires would be stoked, and repeatedly, until the township was able to come up with a predetermined fee to pay the ne'er-do-wells in order to leave their port in peace. The ne'er-do-wells landed in another port, as usual, one afternoon. They played the beautiful music until the shops closed and the residents began to leave, and then they waited. They went to the box on the top deck to get the wood for the fires. Instead of the residents being quietly asleep, however, the entire town was standing row after row, lining the edge of the harbor, staring directly at their vessel. The water was already flowing into the ship of the ne'er-do-wells by the time they could react. You see, the residents had been made aware of the ship approaching 2 days prior, and they had already begun to form a plan of their own. The pipe organ was dismantled and trod upon, resulting in the warped and discolored remaining pipes you see here before you today.
Oh my god. So if someone comes to your port playing music, ask them to leave.
You gotta get them out of there pretty quick. Well, you never know it. It's usually in the night time when they want to do the disturbances. But you just keep your ears open for any sort of musical disturbances, or put a sign up says, "No musical disturbances here, management."
That's what we need to do in town. We got a musical disturbance that's going on in the center town.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh my god.
Yeah, let's
Oh, it's a petrifying machine.
Oof.
This way, please.
Ah, no worries. Thank you.
Make
Boggert?
way to the next chamber. Be careful not to fall into the grave.
Oh.
Oh. Oh god.
Yeah, that's right. Below us here lies the coffin of the final husband of the widow of Shallow Creek. She was called the widow because she had buried 12 husbands, 11 of whom were deceased. She begged for help from the townspeople. She said she was being haunted by the vengeful ghost of her most recent husband. The widows of the town vowed to help their friend and formed a group which would sit in the home of the widow while she tried to rest. It was a quick rotation, for you see, they all eventually stared straight again into the eyes of the man they used to know. Each night, someone sat with her just before the skylight, and there was a shuffling behind them. One after another, the widows fled the still dark, creaking home. Once that group was exhausted, the widows still pleaded to the town for help. The young single men were sent next, as they were thought to be less prone to fright. Same story, however. They all ran for their lives after gazing into the eyes of the man they knew. The oldest woman in town felt far too frail to ask, "May I go next?" She sat slumped forward, next to a warm fire in the chair, her eyes closed, her back to the room, when the ghost appeared. His long bony fingers, reaching and clawing, slid up over the back of the chair and around the woman's frail, thin neck. From outside the home, a blood-curdling scream that chased wolves back to dens was cut short. The townsfolk, worried for the frail lady but humoring her, had kept their ears open in case she called. A number of them reached the steps of the cabin at the same time, and they clambered to the front door, flinging it open. Standing tall over two bodies was the frail old woman. What no one realized is the oldest woman in town was the wisest. Unable to sleep well in the cold nights due to her old bones, she slept during the warmer daylight hours. Then every night, she would sit awake and watch the supposedly dead husband of the widow of Shallow Creek creep through house after house in town. For you see, as people went to sit with the terrified widow, her very much alive husband was looting their houses while they were gone to help her. He would arrive later, scare the people back to their homes, and then show what he had stolen from them to his wife. But the oldest woman went prepared with a rolling pin in her sleeve to expose the ruse of the widow and the husband of Shallow Creek.
Sounds like something Flanagan would do. Flanagan's a
maybe.
friend of ours.
Oof.
Yeah. He's a crazy guy. Crazy bastard.
There's all kinds of schemes out there. You just gotta be careful. We give all the warnings here, just in case.
Yeah, that's a good warning. We see a lot of funerals.
Oh no, not that.
I mean, the cows dying on the farm. That's what I mean.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. It's true, and then you got all the other stuff around the island as well. We find the
Yeah.
little fishes on top of the ground here. I don't know if the fishes creep out of the ground where you live, But they do here. We have plenty of them that don't like to live in the ocean anymore.
They do. It is quite creepy.
Oh, those-
We had George on the dock the other day, didn't we?
Yeah,
One with
yeah.
the nasty teeth, yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
fish, say.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It was an ugly looking fish, to be honest.
I had to hide one. We have a fisherman here in this very town, and the tiniest fish was sitting just outside his shop, but on top of the ground. I had to put it in a basket and then sit on the basket and pretend everything was fine. And we had to hide that fish for a while. Try to keep Mr. Owen from seeing it.
Oh, did you
Yeah.
release it back?
It eventually left on its own. We got lucky.
Yeah, we kept it watered and fed until it, guess a great storm washed it back in the ocean.
Hey, that's good. At least the fish are...
Yeah.
Well, it turned out well in the end.
Oh, perfect. Should
You
have
know-
got,
What?
should have got Employee of the Month for that.
Oh. I'm up against Elias. That's a hard choice. Elias is always going to win.
It is always going to win.
In a remote cabin, something unusual happened. The owner of the cabin was growing older and more tired, and as the years were catching up to him, he thought he needed a way to bring more life back to life. He found a place where he could, for a price, order a tincture that promised to bring life to him. He placed an order, gave his address. He was told to wait 6 nights, and he would hear a loud bang on the front door. He was not to look for the courier. He was only to wait patiently for the 6th night. On the arranged night, he sat waiting, and a loud bang was heard at the darkest portion of the night. Nearly jumping from his body, he realized only then he was still a bit stronger than he realized. He waited a moment, opened the door, retrieved a package bound in hides and tied to a large stone. He thought the bottle was unusually shiny until he realized the shine was coming from inside the bottle. He swirled the bottle through his fingers and he stared at the cork topper. He thought of his plan and he glanced up at the portrait of his loved one. He realized the bottle may hold more than he bargained for. What if it turned back his aging? What if it stopped him from aging completely? Did he decide when he was through with the powerful elixir's charm? He sighed and realized now that he held the bottle in his hand, what he missed was not his youth. It was something that was part of his youth, and that was sadly not coming back. Angry mostly at himself, he threw the bottle into the fireplace where it coated the back. The fireplace grew. It sprouted teeth, and it roared like a tiger and spit flames across the room, eventually settling back down into a normal fireplace once again. But it left him wondering what type of magic was in that tincture, and he vowed to himself never again try to capture that which is meant to be left in the past. We've heard tales of people taking some sort of youth juice that's out on the seas, where it sends them backwards or younger time in their lives, and we get concerned and worried for people that perhaps it may do something unusual to them as well. If you see any of that youth juice, you stay away from that old stuff.
Oh my god. I mean, I could do with a bit... Are you trying to say I need a bit of youth juice? Is that what you're saying, Lenny?
No, not at all.
Oh no, I mean, Amanda thinks I could be younger, you know? I'm sure.
Amanda, no, don't do it, Amanda. Don't take the juice.
No, I just was wondering if you're talking about sullen wit.
No, I don't think so. I hope not. Was that
It may be under a different name now. We haven't studied that very much.
Does it glow in the bottle? Can you see the bottle shimmering and shining from the inside?
I don't
Did you
know.
drink it yourself?
Well, I did drink a sullen wit, yes.
Oh, not that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was because I needed to reload learn some things, and so I decided to go back to a slightly younger version of me that didn't know as much, and then learn some new things.
That could be okay, long as you're not trying to turn back time and the aging process itself.
She doesn't need to. She looks beautiful anyway.
Just sounds dangerous. None of us need to go backwards. We just keep moving forward. I don't want to forget all I've learned. I've learned a lot of strange and weird things. I try to help people now.
Why did you hold on to my ankles when I was getting born?
You were leaving home. See, we lived in a home and Boggert was trying to leave home and I held on to his ankles and I said, "Don't leave home, Boggert. It's nice here and we want to stay here." And sure enough, he kicked me loose and he escaped from the home. Next thing you know, I had to leave as well. I couldn't stay there by myself.
You mean you remember? Was this when you were born?
Yes, I'm older by 15 minutes.
You remember that?
Well, yes, I remember that. Absolutely. What a
That's
traumatic
impressive.
event.
Do you remember when you were born?
No, I do not.
No, me either.
It's a very traumatic thing to remember. There's a lot of stuff that happens, and it's a long process. It's an arduous journey, so to speak. So, yeah, it's best to forget it.
Okay. Yeah. Some memory you've got there. Impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to remember things, lots of stuff.
Okay.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah.
Deep in a prison lie a cold, dark, windowless cell. A guard routinely traversed the corridors. One prisoner that they did not plan on having and didn't know the history of was a magician trained in the art of lock picking. Picking the lock came easily enough, but getting out of the area proved more difficult, as the cell was at the end of a U-shaped corridor. The prisoner had nothing but time on their hands, however, as they sat waiting, day in, day out. They watched the guards, and they finally thought of a plan. The guards always took the same pathway through them, and they realized they could never go towards the guards, or they would be seen. But if they could go ahead of the guards, they may make it out ahead of them. One problem, though, the bed would surely be found empty, as they were on their way to the exit in freedom, raising the alarm bell.
Oh, ow.
In an effort to fool the guards, they began to put away slices of bread and pieces of sausages in their pillowcase. The plan was nearly ruined twice on unplanned laundry days when they had to gorge themselves on the stashed away sausages and bread. But finally, dark, moonless night came, dark enough for the plan to work. They neatly arranged the old bits of bread and sausages to form a vague figure, just enough that the guards would see a body sleeping in the bed and give them plenty of time to slip away. The plan went smoothly, and the prisoner did escape perfectly. The guards eventually discovered the ruse, and knowing how the head of the guards would react to them being fooled, and knowing what they had to do to hide the evidence, they sat down for a most unwanted feast.
Oh dear God.
Yes.
It's hot and it's the top off.
The tour continues around the corner.
Oh. Don't do that.
Oh yeah, but I'm not.
Here before us is the interior of the city offices of the Butcher of Butterfly Lane, as he was later known. Shown on the table.
Doesn't the butcher live in Port Innocent?
What? There's a butcher?
Apparently.
I believe so.
Oh no. The Butcher of Port Innocence. Well, we'll listen to the story and then you determine if you think it's the same person.
I've never met him.
Oh.
Thank God. Continue, please.
Before you are the actual tools that he used. He fancied himself as a dentist, and he was able to convince the local populace that he was a legitimate one. Using a plant known for hallucinogenic properties, he was able to cause patients to, in essence, mentally leave their bodies, and he tied them here to the bed before you. He would then remove all of the teeth of the victim, promising only to repair just a few of their teeth. It was so much easier to convince them later that all of their teeth had gone bad, and none of the work which he could not do needed to be performed. Human teeth were a prized form of keratinoid, similar to bone, but with a much sturdier structure once refined properly. The fraudulent dentist would leave his offices early in the days, and that was thought odd by the community, considering how many of them desperately needed dental work. But he had a nefarious reason for always leaving. He was putting ground-up squid innards in the town's water supply. The squid's innards contain powerful acids that the squid uses to break down sharp shells that they ingest in their feeding cycle. And even once they were ground up and dispersed, the innards had enough acid quality to weaken the teeth of the city dwellers to the point they needed dental work and supplied the dentist with an endless amount of teeth.
Wow. Oh.
Oh,
You can take off your shirt if you need to. It's fine. Just don't pass out, because
yeah.
It's getting hot in here.
for him.
Oh, hang on.
All right.
Some medical stuff makes him a little queasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, better put it.
Always get in here and cool yourself.
Ah, yes. That's a good idea.
Try that. Try that. Are you
No,
wearing?
I'm okay. I'm good.
What are you? What?
I'm good.
You just start thinking of something else and fan yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I do have some hide pieces if that would help to make it so you can deal with the heat a little better.
Oh no, that's much better.
Okay.
Oh.
Alright.
All right. All right, if you're feeling better, that's good.
Okay. Continue, ma'am, please.
Oh, sure. A packed cargo freighter named the Sea Slicer sailed through a fog-shrouded sea. It lurched high and low on the sea's crates groaning at its sides. On board, amongst the crew, stood a deckhand. As the ship passed through the shimmer, a mysterious event occurred. Every person, in fact every creature everywhere, disappeared, except the deckhand. Calling out for anyone else, he realized he was totally alone. In fear for the crates, their contents, and the ship itself, the deckhand began to panic. He didn't understand the workings of the ship enough to get it under control, and without a crew to pull the sails and manage the ship's wheel, seemed like a task that could not be accomplished. Hello? Hello? Help! He pleaded, and his plea was heard by the only other thing that inhabited the world. The figure stood just before him on the other side of the cabin door, but he could immediately tell it was not human. It had no facial features, and in fact it had no features at all. The ship careened out of control, and just as the figure reached through the doorway, the ship crashed on a desolate island. The deckhand was thrown overboard into the water just beside the shoreline, and while running from the ship, the figure and the deckhand began to realize he wasn't breathing normally. With every breath he took, it grew shallower and shallower. The further he made it from the figure, the less he could breathe. The world grew darker and darker until he finally went unconscious. The deckhand awakened and found himself all the way back where the voyage began. But the crew, the ship, and the cargo were never seen again. They say the shimmer figure waits just over the shimmer for its next crew. Will you be the only one it spares, or will you never be seen again?
What, going through the shimmer?
Yeah, the shimmer.
We did have an incident just a few days ago. One of our crewmate was yanked from the ship.
On the ship.
Wow.
I about 2 weeks ago, I had the ship vanished when I went through.
Well, we've heard a story as well. We heard this story. Perhaps it links up somehow with your story you're hearing. We did hear that a ship passed through a shimmer, and their ship was on the other side already. Now they had two ships and two sets of crew, one of which was sleeping, and the other set was awake. And they were left wondering, who was who? Were they still them, or were they the one that was sleeping?
We've
And
had
it was
that before.
It was a horrendous event, and it made them really, really question some things. And we wonder here at the Oddities Museum if the shimmer figure is possibly duplicating people so it can have even more crew on the other side of the shimmer.
Oh my
We've
god.
also heard
Wow.
hungers for pets and shoulder pets especially. It will claw them from your shoulders as you pass through the shimmer, and you'll never see them again, possibly. It
That's
tried
what
to get
happened. When?
tried to get our poor crewmate. Not one day ago, we were sailing, we crossed a shimmer, and our crewmate was pulled from their deck boards down.
I wouldn't say pull. It was more like yanked, because when he got back on board, we had to grapple him on, and the shimmer kept wanting to still try to pull him off, and we were on the other side of the world.
Yeah, we had made it through the shimmer, but the figure had such a deep hold into him that it was still pulling at him, even though we were far away from the shimmer. It was still trying to drag him through to the other side.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was bad when I went through. I was at the wheel, I went through, and then I was just in the middle of the air and my ship was gone.
Oh no. The whole ship disappeared. Just like
Yes, and swim to the island.
Wow.
maybe with this shimmer figure's getting that extra ship. When it produces another ship and another crew, it could pulling ships from someone and gifting them to someone else. We have heard that the shimmer figure steals the youth from one person and gifts it to another, but we still haven't figured out why.
Maybe to man all the ships it's stealing.
It's a good option that it could be. I don't know.
I did see a ghost ship the other day. Maybe that's where the
Ship of
Yeah,
ghosts?
yeah. I was going through one of the outer reach islands, and then it just started. It was like a ghost galley, and it was all hazy and green.
Oh, not that. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
ship that's piloted by the shimmer figure itself. It
Maybe.
doesn't really have a form either.
I hope
I'll-
you run. I hope you run, Amanda.
Hmm?
You didn't get close to it, did you, Amanda?
No. I was trying to get out of that zone as quickly as possible. There was a mythos storm coming, but I thought it was interesting.
No.
Also, we're telling people to leave a note in your pocket, so in case you do encounter a future or a past you, you can pass along a message to them, and maybe words of encouragement or signs of the future.
Or remind yourself not to cross through the shimmer again, as it has become very dangerous.
Right, we're moving. We're living here now.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that'll be the
I
dream.
actually, one of my crewmates was duplicated a little bit ago too.
No, not that. But having it
Yeah.
happen to them as well.
Yeah, it was very very weird. We put the copy in inside of the brig because we weren't sure when it was gonna wake up.
Oh
Funny.
no. A time
That,
probably.
was that John the farmhand?
It was
One of our yeah.
yeah.
Ah, yes, ma'am. Continue.
The story of this printing press begins in the polar north. The freighter Frozen Sails was used to deliver supplies to a far-flung polar research base where the Frozen Institute was located. On the slippery top deck of Frozen Sails was a crew member who called out eerily, "Who's there?" as they heard voices in the fog crying. The calling out stopped the other crew in their tracks, and they soon enough heard it as well. Enchanting voices. They were not calling out in sorrow. They were calling out in song. By the time anyone on board could raise the alarm, no one wanted to any longer. Below decks, a sleeping crew member who would be on a late shift was awakened. They were slid out of bed and across the sleeping quarters. Just as the crew member made it halfway out the topside, the sails, sitting untended, whirled and snapped violently through the wind. The heeling of the ship was so intense, crew members who were not already overboard were thrown overboard. The crew member was awestruck with horror, and the crew member had plugged their ears with rolled up cotton to stop the loud crew from waking them before their shift, and were now oblivious to the sounds coming from the ocean. But they knew in an instant what was happening. The ship was under the attack of the siren's song. The masts, weakened by the whirling and snapping, groaned and gave way, crashing down through the deck below and severely damaged the ship. The crew member climbed into it, lowered it, and watched, sickeningly, as their crewmates dove underwater and swam down, down, into the now still blue abyss. The survivor rowed and rowed for hours through the frozen waters until they reached land. They staggered onto the frosty shores, they called out, and they collapsed. They had made it to the island of the Frozen Institute, and they would very soon be found. The same is not said for the frozen cells and the rest of the crew. They drifted down, down into the frozen depths. The survivor decided to print a book to tell the tale of that horrendous day, and they used the boards from the dinghy that they survived in to make the printing press here behind me. It is said that the sea sirens placed a curse on that dinghy and the boards because they did not get the chance to clear the ocean completely that day. The now cursed printing press made from those boards can at times call out to people nearby, asking them to climb into its gnashing jaws. It is rumored that it eventually devoured the crew member who created it. But we're left wondering, now, is it satisfied, or is it waiting to strike again?
How sturdy are them bars?
Pretty sturdy. We've had tests. We only had one person who's felt some sort of decision to draw forward, but we don't know if it was intentional or if it was just an implanted thought of some sort.
Oh, God.
Yes. But it's pretty safe in there. It's going to have a hard time dragging you through.
Okay.
I think you're pretty safe.
Okay. Can't feel it pulling me, can you, Amanda?
No, I think I'm okay.
Lucky.
I'm not sure if the next exhibit is for the faint of heart. It's has a little bit of medical in it, so if you're frightened, I can walk you to the next room.
I'd like to ask at this point if you're afraid of any of the clockworks that are hiding in the woods around the world. If you are, then you may not want to visit this oddity. You may want to skip forward.
No, we're
Yeah,
maybe a simple farming family, but you know we can hold our own.
But the clockwork scene
my-
here before you has the motion winder in the back that allows it to go through different poses and positions. They say that the sound you just heard is the sound of gears grinding on the inside of the clockwork. We do not believe that here at the Oddities Museum. We do believe that the clockwork has something more unusual about it. If you are not afraid, we would like to open the head of one of the clockworks and let you gaze inside and see what lies inside the clockwork.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Do I want to?
I don't know.
I do have
Be interested.
I do have the puke bucket here if you need to throw up into it.
Oh God.
Welcome to step forward, if you're not afraid, to gaze down through the open hatch on top of clockwork. You will see
Oh God.
a pair of spherical shaped objects, 2 rows of perfectly positioned human teeth, and what appears to be the growth of some sort of brain on the inside of the clockwork's head. This leaves us in wonder of what exactly these clockworks are made of. This one was
Made of
loosened
people?
by a gunshot. A gunshot grazed the head of the clockwork, allowing us to open the top and allowing others to gaze inside and see what kind of horror
So
lies
there's
inside
teeth
them.
and blood in there.
There's two
Looks like
rows
it.
of human teeth inside each clockwork, but we cannot determine why.
Oh my god, you better put that back on.
Yes.
Oh god, what is that
Let's
thing?
not have those. I think Flanagan made one. Let's toss it out. Throw it away.
Let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of it. Did you take donation? I think we might have a clockwork.
Moving.
Oh my god, what do you mean? Is it moving?
What?
Oh,
It is
my
moving.
God. Whoa.
Oh no, not moving. Boggert, it moved just a little. They don't always move when you're not looking at them. Don't worry.
Oh my god.
Pretty sure they're made of people.
That brings us to our final oddity here at BoggOdd Oddities Museum.
Okay. That's someone I've not seen
Wow.
before.
Oh, in front of you stands Hera, the oddity of Itch Meadow Farm, born during a hurricane. She believes that she is standing the right way up. She has been utterly convinced of this, and we cannot correct her. She does not use her hooves, and instead she drags herself along with her horns and wiggles side to side to get around. She is perfectly content, and she is able to see the berries on the underside of bushes that the other animals miss. So we think maybe she is an adaptation of the species in order to fill a void. Must file her hooves down regularly, as she does not wear them down naturally. She produces what her original owners referred to as the wrong way milk, but we here at BoggOdd Oddities refer to it as swilk. It is said that by this swilk not hanging down into her udders and cooling, the swilk stays hotter for a longer period of time, thereby producing a sweeter, more mature milk with a caramel flavor undertone that is prized over regular milk.
Wow.
Oh god. Is she available for breeding or?
Oh, no, we don't breed her. But you're welcome to take a closer look if you like. You're welcome to step inside. We ask that you don't stroke her udders. We've had incidents.
Okay. Have people been stroking her udders?
Doesn't-
They, as a farmer, they have fine udders.
Yeah, they are. Well, we also ask people here if they're washing their milk. We want to make sure people are washing their milk before they consume it out in the regular cows and such. Notice that her udders are placed in a more sanitary position here at BoggOdd Oddities Museum. However, the standard cow, the udders are placed in a less sanitary position, and we want to make sure that you wash your milk before you consume it.
Oh,
here.
I see. Because now it goes away from the udders.
Yep.
Ah, very clear. This swilk is delicious, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. We do enjoy it here ourselves as well. That brings us to the end of our tour here at BoggOdd Oddities Museum, and you're welcome to either leave a comment for us in the desk here, or to drop any sort of donation you may want to leave behind, but you're not required to do either one at all. We just thank you for coming today. We're very glad that you were able to hear all the warnings, and we ask you, as above me, be sure to remember the warnings on your way out to the seas again. And we also ask you to tell others that we're here so that they're not out there making any of the mistakes which we've
Definitely.
uncovered here today.
Oh, you're too kind,
Definitely.
sir. Thank you. There's blank letters in there if you want to write a review or sign the guest book. There's a guest book in there as well.
Oh, thank you. We've got a. Hopefully the gold can help you keep sustaining this place because it's fantastic.
Yeah, it
yes.
really is.
Honey, I give them a gold 30, okay?
Okay, that's alright.
He controls the money, Mr. Boggert, you know?
Thank you so much. Yes, we're not able to get out on the seas very much, and so it's kind of hard to raise funds.
I will make sure that anyone I tell knows to bring a nice
There you go.
donation.
Thank
We'll give
you
you a
so very much.
Honey, we're eating beans on toast for the rest of the week. I spent all the money.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. We'll
Okay, we'll manage.
We'll make it up. Yeah.
Well, hopefully that helps you keep this, and many more people can see this, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, we're trying to get the word out as far as we can.
I
This
will.
was
We'll,
great.
we'll see if we can pass it around ourselves. Okay.
Thank you very much. And thank you for attending at BoggOdd Oddities Museum here today.
So you said you're up in D6.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you.
No, you drank the youth juice. I knew it.
No.
I could. Oh,
Can you keep a secret, ma'am?
oh, sure, we'll keep it. Give me youth juice, are you?
Okay, this is.
I'm Sir Bartholomew Rothschild, commander of the privateers, Broken Harbour. I do apologise. I had to, just in case anyone comes out or sees me, I don't want to put you in danger. So I had to do a disguise. So as we're leaving, I just thought I'd tell you who I am.
Well, thank you very much for letting us know.
I'm not nearly as but I am Veronica Silver of Tradewinds Company, and I am the leader of my company as well.
Ooh. Well, thank you very much for coming here today. We're glad you've could tour through, and we're glad you have some companies that you can take some of the warnings back to if they don't come to see them for themselves.
Oh, I will tell them about it, and I'll make sure they come over.
Well,
We tell people to tell them all about the museum, and then at the end, you say, before it's too late.
Have you got a leaflet to put in? So I'm from Southwest D6. Have you got a leaflet I can put on my my board for you?
yeah, there's some pull tabs on the board outside the exit here. So you're welcome to grab extras there. There's some that Boggert gave you.
Yeah, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I'll put one
Yeah.
up as well.
We do it
Yeah.
just in case,
Yeah.
to protect yourselves, just in case anyone come in. We don't want any trouble in your
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
in your museum. So
Well, that's all right. We appreciate that. We don't want any troubles either. We got enough troubles to warn everyone about without adding
Yes.
more to the list around here.
well, you understand how it is, obviously, as a privateer. There's a lot of unsavory people, and don't want to put you up by showing our real identity. So
Oh, sure. Well, that's fine. We just had a couple of farmers on the tour here today, and Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
Yes, he
thank you
really
very much.
he really
you.
liked the cow.
Oh,
Yeah.
that cow is wonderful. I have a purple
Same.
cow.
Ooh, a
Yeah,
purple cow. Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
it. Does it give purple
But-
milk as well?
I don't think so, but it is a rather odd color for a cow.
That does sound odd. I've never seen a purple cow.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you could donate to the purple cow.
Yeah. Yeah, I could bring it over if you want it.
No, you keep the purple cow for yourself. That way you have something that you can show people as well.
That
Alright.
is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, if you're ever in the area, you're always welcome at Broken Harbour. We'll have food and drinks for you.
same,
and,
same with me.
Right, where's Broken Harbour located at?
Southwest D6.
There's quite a few people from D6 lately. We had a tour just last week from someone from the middle of D6.
Story-wise, Cove. The
That
library.
was it. Yeah, it was a library. That's right.
We have
Yeah,
to
the
make
good
our way
people.
over there to do some additional research on some future exhibits.
Well, feel free to pop in when you do and say hello, and We'll have a drink and a little chat and see how you're doing, okay?
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for stopping in today.
Yeah,
No worries.
It was
Appreciate
great. It was
everything
really
as well. Oh, thank you.
I hope the donation helps you, and if you have any troubles, let me know, and we'll come over and help you.
We definitely will. Thank you.
Thank you so
No
much
worries.
for coming.
Well, we won't keep you any longer, and this was absolutely fantastic. I mean,
Yeah,
stunning,
it was
absolutely
amazing.
stunning.
Well, thank you.
Remember to stop
I'm
in
very
town
impressed.
and see Tanny's artwork.
Yes, we have a nice
Oh, we will
art
do.
gallery in town if you'd like. She does commission paintings and original artwork. She has some prints available, some originals, and she can take commissions, like a painting of yourself.
Oh,
That sounds nice.
yeah. Let's get a joint.
Take you that way if you like. I'll show you the way to the gallery. It's just on the way to your ship.
Ah, we could get a picture of Mrs. Jones, couldn't we, Boggert?
That's right.
Yeah. we could put that on the ship and then leave the other
Yes,
for the
yes.
office.
Yes.
That way, you know.
Yeah, I hope she's around. Not sure how much coin I've got left, but yeah.
Yeah, I won't lie. I was not expecting to. I should have brought some coin, but considering how I left home, it was
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
thing on my mind.
Alright. We'll see how much you have anyway. I've got a little bit. Hey, stop a stack.
Tansy, are you in town?
I don't know. Hi. Hi. Yeah, good. We just had a tour of the museum. It was fantastic.
To hear those warning.
Hi, and yeah, I'm Connor Jones, and this is my wife Amanda Jones.
And they're
That's lovely
farmers.
to meet ya. Oh, okay.
Yeah, from
We're not-
Boots and Shoots.
Oh, all right. That's a nice name.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Tans from the art gallery. I heard. I think you want to see it.
Yeah, do. And
Up
they
to.
said you do pictures. I wondered if you could do a picture of us two together. Can you do that?
Oh,
And how
yeah,
much
I
is it?
definitely can. Well, it depends on the size. I don't know if you want a medium size or a large size.
Probably a large, really.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do a large.
Okay. I normally give those for 60 silver.
Okay. Would you take 50? Because that's all I have left.
Oh, sure. That's fine.
How about 50 and a pizza?
Oh, that's all right. You can keep the pizza. I'll do it for this.
I'm sorry, Mum. I donated a little bit too much, so I do apologise.
Oh, no, that's
Lindsay,
all right.
you
I
don't
feel
like-
that out.
There you go, Tansy. I'll cover the cost of the remaining.
You don't like
Oh,
pizza?
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, I like pizza, but I don't want to take their food too.
Oh, it's delicious
We've
pizza.
got quite a bit of food on the ship, so
Yeah.
You should try that slice of
Okay,
that
sure.
pizza. Maybe we can figure out the recipe on it. She says she puts sausage and bacon and what other items on it.
cheese, lots of cheese.
Ooh, cheese. Yes, that's what really kicked it over the edge.
That's perfect.
Where'd you find the recipe for that?
I didn't actually make it.
You find it in you find it in G4. You need to find
Okay.
a little book in G4 and buy it.
Do you know which book it is actually? Because I also don't have it.
Yes, I don't know, but I know it's in G4. But I wonder if you have a look. Let me 1 second.
No, that's must be the market that Owen was speaking about before.
Not G4. Oh, where is it? Hang on.
Are you talking about an exotic trader?
Yeah, it's an exotic trader on one of those Gs that does it.
I think I think their stock rotates though. Like they get random items every day.
All right.
Or every 2 days or something like that.
If you are looking for it and you come to, yeah, if you ask one of the reports around there, they'll probably know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Might have to look for that.
Yeah, most of my books I had to just you know, go back every few days and check, see if they were there, and if not, you know, leave, come back a different day.
Okay.
Because their stock rotates, so sometimes the book won't be available. But every island in I think you said G5, is that the?
Well, it's not G5. It's one. It's like G5. It's one of them over there. G6 maybe.
It's G4. Every island in G4 has a different exotic leader.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah. So you
Okay.
can find 3 in G4, and there's one in Hangman's Cove in
Yeah. So that's where you find the pizza recipe and I think the fried food one as well, maybe.
in C5.
Okay.
Hangman's Cove is in C5, so that would be another trader we know about.
Okay, that's. Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Oh, that's crazy. We've been over to C5 so many times, and I think that's
Yeah,
where we
it's,
originally got the sheep from as well, on the same island.
It's bottom right corner. If you look at the map, there's a little dip in the rock. She is at the back wall in that dip.
Oh, all right.
We'll have to look for her.
I think she sells the trees as well.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, we definitely have to go
nice.
back there. Why didn't that nice gentleman ever tell us that there was a person in the corner?
You didn't even bother to tell us, and we were there for so long.
He didn't tell us about this oddity.
I think that's the same island where that might be the same island where the tiger jumped out of the bushes and ate one of my sheep.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's awful.
I hadn't had a chance to get really attached to it. I just found it, but it seemed like it was kind and willing to follow me to the ship, and then suddenly the tiger just started attacking my sheep line.
Oh God,
Wow.
be careful. Be careful when you go there then looking for the trader.
Right.
Yeah, you will be.
Yeah.
Boggett can lead forward, and if the line attacks her, it wouldn't like her very much. She's an old leathery thing, so.
No, not old.
Oh. Yeah, not old at all.
Not
she's-
old at all.
She's
Still in her youth. Still in her
brandishing
youth.
that very dangerous metal pick as well. She'll knock that tiger right off.
I'll show it what for.
I've seen her punch an animal and it knock over.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wow. You punched an animal and it knocked it out. Oh dear.
She's
God.
pretty fierce.
Like that.
wow.
I can't remember. I was in the moment. Boggert have to tell you that. How many times, Boggert?
How many punches you had to throw to knock that one animal onto its back?
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was just one.
Oh, just one. There you
Oh,
go.
good grief.
Oh God. Oh, but, I mean, you wouldn't look like you could, but my God, that must be some punch you have there.
She's quite a bit more spry and yeah,
Wow,
there
look
you
at
go.
that.
People
My God.
get around anymore because I'm out back and do stuff. Yeah.
Oh my God, she's better than me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that fast.
Uh-uh.
Now, both of them are quite the picture of health for their age. Sometimes it's hard for me to keep up with them.
Yeah. Not even on that old.
Come on, Boggert.
We're not on that old juice that's going around.
Wouldn't know. Look at Boggert's got the moves.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, nice.
I think
Oh,
part
it
of
is quite high.
Yeah. It's do you have a? Could you mind if I use your water barrel by any chance?
No, no, go ahead.
Oh,
right to the
Oh, you
we're
didn't mean.
used to the heat here.
I was like, yeah, use the one on my shit. Never mind.
Yeah, we're from
If
a
it's,
much warmer area, you know.
Now, if it's very
Ah, yeah, no, I'm okay for now. I'm okay. The water's really cooled me down. Yes, it's positive. Okay, awesome. So where do we go for the photo out of interest? Oh, right, it's okay. Let's have a look.
Oh, that bottle. Terrible.